Awesome. So a couple things I wanted to touch bases with you guys. This is what our initial thought was. This would be a space for us to kind of share some of the things that we're trying out. In addition, an opportunity for possibly even sharing a screen to show how to do a feature or two online with one of the platforms that you're using. It's also an opportunity to ask questions that we may not have all the answers to, but certainly with the group of people that is meeting, that somebody might have that answer to those questions as well. So it's kind of interactive in that sense, and we'll have a couple things to potentially talk about and share as well around Pearson online platform for Envision, as well as we can talk a little bit about Zoom and some of the features that Zoom offers that you might want to consider. So before we jump into that stuff, though, I did want to show you guys again the e-learning website that's up and running. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into presentation mode. Boom, boom. Okay, so you should see the e-learning website up on here. So there's a couple things I do want to show you. And under the Teachers tab, most of you probably know, have gotten to the PD schedule. That's why you're here, I guess, right? But this is where you can find other PDs that are happening during the week. So some Google Classroom, Flipgrid, variety of different things in here for you guys for this week. In addition, I do want to point out the content area, and you can go to math, and I think most of you have seen this, but I do want to refer you to this page because it does have a lot of how-to videos, webinars that are available for K through 12 as well. So there's some PearsonRealize stuff here that may be worthwhile as you're building that knowledge of the online platform. And Coach Shauna will talk a little bit and walk you through a little bit of that stuff in a little bit. So I did want to share that. And in addition, y'all got the UTR communication. I thought it's ambitious and interesting at the same time. A real interesting theory of action that has a lot to do with distance learning, personalizing the asynchronous opportunities as well for students to learn at different times and spaces, focusing on mastery and deeper learning experiences. And I thought this was just kind of a nifty little reminder of lesson design as well for us to consider even as we go to distance learning mode as well. So that being said, let me go ahead and stop the presentation. And go ahead and field questions in the chat. Elsa Jenny, she just stepped out, but she was mentioning that she was trying out quizzes for one of the platforms that she's practicing, as well as posting some videos from her own videos on YouTube. Has anybody else had any of that experience or would like to share?
Dr. Sumchai can't hear.
Dr. Sumchai, if you click on your screen, then there should be a bar that pops up from the bottom, and you should see a little microphone icon that's red. If you click on it, it will turn white.
So I just was saying in chat that I use quizzes and YouTube videos, and quizzes can set you up so that you can post directly into your Google account or Google Classroom, and you can get reports from them about how many students are participating and what their levels of success are on there. I always ask them to go ahead and post their percentages as a comment in Google Classroom, so I see, you know, them participating and sharing how they're doing in there with one another. And that's something I had them do in the classroom when I used quizzes in the classroom. I've used a lot of YouTube videos to introduce topics. There's another site I use that I worked on as an editor called LearnZillion, which has lots and lots of just direct instruction videos that are quite good, that you can use just on, you know, precise topics if you need to just show them something, one thing or another. And so you can go in there and search and get stuff. Other than that, I have not been using Khan Academy because most people or most students are aware of Khan Academy, and I tell them if they want backup just to go in there and they can see examples in there on screen right in front of them. But I don't think that the graphics and sound and all that is very sophisticated for like a presentation through Khan Academy.
Cool. Yeah. Any other experiences with Khan Academy out there? I know a couple of years ago I was using it for my geometry class, and I was using the, I want to say it was called a mission, where it was kind of self-directed. They kind of just worked through their mission in the geometry course, and it was all self-paced, so it wasn't specific assignments or specific activities that I was expecting them to do. I was just expecting them to do a certain percentage over the course of a certain amount of time. Has anybody else had any experiences with Khan Academy, successes, challenges?
There you go. Who's talking here?
Hi, Dave, you are.
Oh, good. Yeah. I was lucky enough to sign up through Khan Academy in that 1-2 hour meeting we had before we left for all this. So we sent out invites to all my kids. Most of them are signed up. I just haven't used it to get any kind of grading done or any to check to see how they're doing. So I may actually do a trial run this week to see how it works. I assume we might grade them for the work they do during the 3 weeks after break. Is correct-ish?
Yeah, can somebody field that question? I didn't read completely through the MOU. Is there like an expectation of grading happening after break?
There is an expectation. I was listening to the UTR Facebook Live the other day. They just haven't decided how they're going to do it, whether it's going to be pass, not pass, credit, not credit. They're just kind of waiting for direction from the state to determine how that will happen. I know that they basically cut off the end of third quarter at March 13th. And so the kids will receive a grade for their third quarter work. That was before we all had to shelter in place. And then fourth quarter started right after that. But the expectation is that they will receive some type of grade for their work, or some type of credit for their work.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking at the MOU right now. It says, quote, an equitable grading policy prior to April 13th will be communicated internally into our parents' community, but it doesn't say anything else beyond that. Yeah. The nice thing about where we're at right now, you guys, is really is that there could be now for us and for the kids really a focus on the learning aspect as opposed to the, you know, A, B, C, D, F aspect. So thinking of it just in terms of learning and supporting kids in their learning and providing feedback to kids to help them move forward with their learning. I think it creates a different perspective oftentimes for us as teachers. Oftentimes we're just so stuck on everything that they do, they're graded, et cetera, et cetera. This is an opportunity for us to kind of step back and play the role of facilitating learning without worrying about grading.
So I wanted to take an opportunity to show people another option of giving out assignments, and that's through the PearsonRealize platform. As many of you know, Pearson is our adopted text that we have for Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. And some teachers are actually taking this opportunity to dive more into the platform. So I just want to show, there's one thing though, kids, when they access Pearson, they have to go through their PowerSchool accounts. And they have to make sure it's their PowerSchool account, not their parents' PowerSchool account. And that's where the book is. So I'm just going to share my screen at this time and show you all how to get to it if you have not had that opportunity.
Shauna, thanks for pointing that out, that it is through the kid's own PowerSchool account as opposed to the parents. If they log in as their parents, they will not see any of the PearsonRealize stuff.
Right. Okay. So, choose what I share. Okay. Okay, so again, kids can access their PowerSchool link through their Clever, and so can you. So all you have to do is go down to PowerSchool and click in, and your classes should already be rostered when you do that. So when you click on the PowerSchool and you log in, I'm going to show you what mine would look like. I don't have any classes, but up in the upper right-hand corner, we see this little square with a triangle in it. And if you click on that, that will take you to your Pearson courses. And you just click on that, and that takes you to the Pearson home screen. Oh, Easy Bridge. Okay. And then from here, clear that, you would click into PearsonRealize. Now, if this is your first time going into PearsonRealize, again, you'd automatically be signed in. You'd have to go to your settings where you would select your books. So I just went into settings. You can change some account information there if you want to, and click on programs. And then, oh, mine are already selected for me. Algebra 1, Common Core, Algebra 2, and Envision Geometry. And those are the 3 adoptions that we currently have. So once you do that, I'm going to go back to my PearsonRealize page, right? And my programs show up here. Okay. Here I have my class information, data, and library. I'm going to just click out of this quickly because, let's see, that one. Got to go to this one. Okay. So basically all you have to do is to go into any one of these. I've been playing around in, let's see, well, let's go into geometry. That's where I've been. Okay. And once you go into, oh, it's taking a minute to load, I guess. Come on, go there. Well, let me try classes in geometry. Maybe that'll work better. That's not, select a class, geometry. Okay, for some reason, I don't know why it's not going through. But when you are able to go into your program, it will basically give you the table of contents for every single chapter that's in the book. And then you can select on whatever section you want to do. And you have a little tab that says assign classes. Let me try classes and see if that'll let me through there. It's interesting. No, it's not letting me in. I'll try this other link here. Let's see. Okay. All right. Went into algebra 2. All right. So this is what you'll get. This is a table of contents. And here we have our topics. Again, some of you have your books at home, so you can easily look through that. You also have your teacher's edition e-text here, and the student's edition, which is also connected with Realize Reader. So I'm just going to click, let's go into polynomial functions, just because. And once you're here, you can see that if you click here on Teacher's Edition, that will take you to this topic in your teacher's text. There's different videos, and you see for every topic, there's this little button that says Assign. And so this is where you would go to assign any topic that you want to your kids. Okay. So let's open up one of these lessons. I'm going to go into graphing polynomial functions so I can get more information on it. And I do recommend that everything that before you assign something, you just click it, open it up to see what it looks like, to see if that's exactly what you want to assign your kids. Okay. The lessons are basically set up where the kids explore something in this text, they understand and apply. And you can assign any one of these. And it's basically a short interactive lesson on the different examples. And then practice and problem solving here. You can assign a particular problem set, and you can also customize the problem set if you want to. They also have adaptive practice. So it basically assigns the kids problems based on their answers. And then there's a lesson quiz that you can also assign to every kid for every section. And the cool thing about the lesson quizzes is that it gives you a short assessment. I'm going to click assign this and see if it lets me. Oh, gosh. All right. It tells me I have to add students. And my other one, I can go into it, but this one I can't because it doesn't show my students. But when you click on it and you just select the classes that you want to assign this to, it gives you an option to provide either enrichment or some reteaching for kids as they need it. And it also gives you a calendar, so you can put an end date and due date on there also. So it's pretty self-explanatory, and you can play with it. Over here in teacher resources, other things that you can add and assign to your kids if you wanted to. And it also gives you the opportunity to upload different assignments to your classes if you want to. So my classes aren't going to show any classes. Yours will show all of your classes that you have. And then,
Rashonda, if you go to quarter 3, you will be able to see students.
Well, so I don't have students. That's why it's not allowing me to show you exactly.
So for the rest of us, there's nothing in quarter 4, but if you go to quarter 3, you'll be able to go back and look at everything you've done as of now.
Yes. And clicking on data will allow you to monitor your students' progress on all of the assignments that they've done. So that's just a quick overview of the PearsonRealize. And again, it gives you options of what you can assign. Unfortunately, PearsonRealize does connect with Google Classroom. However, West Contra Costa does not have that access. So you're not able to sign things directly to kids through PearsonRealize. However, if I were using Google Classroom, I would go in there and say, hey, let them know that they do have assignments in PearsonRealize, so they'll remember to go through and check it. Also, on the, let's see, on the resource page that Mark shared with you, we do have a link to My Pearson training. Let me show you that also. And it says Pearson training videos. I'm sorry, it says PearsonRealize training. So if you click on that, it's going to take you to a link that says My Pearson training. And here you just click your program, We're in Visions, or you can type in Algebra 1 because our Algebra 1 is not part of the Envision collection. I can pick a program, and here we have Envision AGA, which is Algebra, Geometry, Algebra 2, Common Core. Thank you. And then here, if you click on On-Demand Training, you can see that they have short videos and tutorials of a lot of different topics that may be of interest to you. Getting started, teaching a lesson, digital resources, and things like that. And so it goes on. How do you monitor their progress? The adaptive practice, and next step. And they're just short little videos from 5 to 7 minutes that you can watch. And it will just kind of lead you step by step through anything that you may have a question on. So that's that. So I know people are doing different things as far as curriculum goes in pushing it out to their students. But if you're kind of scrambling for something because you're not quite sure where you want to start or what you want to go, Pearson is always there available for you to use. Again, you would just have to send your kids, some information such as access it through your PowerSchool. And also, Mark Moran gave us a tip a couple of weeks ago and gave us directions on students having to clear their cache in order to access the platform. So if you haven't, I encourage you to take some time to, go through it, play with it for a little bit, see what you like about it, and like I said, just another option, another resource for our kids.
Thanks, Shada. Yeah, I mean, we should take full advantage of the resources that we have available that we currently have online. And again, all the stuff on the Envision stuff is pretty solid stuff, as most of you know. It's well aligned. It hits the standards really well, and there's a lot of different resources on PearsonRealize that you can use and assign. I don't know too much about the remediation functions at all, or the differentiation functions. If somebody else would like to speak to that'd be great. I know Big Ideas has some remediation options, but I imagine that PearsonRealize does as well. There has been.
Can I say something? Would it be all right?
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead.
This is what I'm struggling with, and I'm sure we all will at one point. Assigning the material to the students, checking their progress, and giving them grades. I'm still struggling with how to do that. At one time, I tried it and it didn't work. Now we're forced to do it. So what I'm hoping is that we will, use our skill sets and our intelligence to just go through all of this material and kind of figure it out and then help each other. Because right now, I can't even remember how I used to assign and monitor their work. And as I'm recalling, I didn't get much participation from the students at that time. But now everybody's forced to be online.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. As I was mentioning earlier in the meeting, this is actually a great time for now, is to not worry about grading. It's assign work, be supportive for students who have questions. If you have an opportunity to give feedback to student work that they post back to you on Google Classroom or whatever other platform that you're using to use to communicate with kids, great. But right now it's really supporting kids in the different places that they are in their learning. And for now, let's not worry too much about grades. Let's just concern ourselves more with just being able to get some material out there, and then to be available for support as students need it. I know a lot of teachers are have set up office hours a couple times a week, and they actually, I heard that Sean, I think it was Pinole Middle that's put together a schedule with other teachers at their sites. I think it's a Google sheet that they set up, that they're putting in certain hours during the day that they're available so that they don't overlap with other teachers' office hours. That might be something that you and your team at your site can consider. But an opportunity for kids to come to you and ask questions via a Google Meets or a Zoom is a great opportunity to give some feedback and check in on how they're doing. Chris, do you want to chime in with a little Zoom plug at this time?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So teachers, I've been checking in with the whole Zoom thing. And for those of you who want to do a meeting with your classrooms, with your students, a live meeting, I think Zoom has a lot of good possibilities, and also it has a little more secure, or it gives the teacher more control than the platform that we're on now, which is a Google Hangout Meet, because it allows teachers to mute everyone, and students can't turn their mics back on. It also allows teachers to kick a student out of the group who can't behave properly, and put them in kind of a waiting room so they can come back on later when they can get their behavior in line. It also gives you the possibility to create groups very easily, so that you can assign group work to your students and have them work in groups, and then you can switch around to the different groups and kind of join in, or kind of see how they're doing, ask them if they need any help, and you can move on to another group. So just quickly, I'm going to present my screen. Here's my screen here. Yes. Go ahead. Yes. And you can access Zoom through your Clever page, and it's actually right down here. It's this blue camera that says Zoom. Hello? Yeah. And there's two ways to access Zoom, and the best way to do it is to make make an account for yourself through your WCC USD Google platform. Because if you access it from on the web, then you don't have all these different options. And so, for example, if we go down here to settings, I was just going to show you can do a lot of different things with your settings. I wanted to highlight a couple of quick things. Yes, I especially wanted to just, well, you can have a whiteboard. I think that's an interesting possibility. Oh, here we go. So one of the advanced things, I don't know why it's called advanced, but you can make a breakout room, and that allows you to split the meeting participants into separate, smaller rooms. And so that's how you would create groups to do small group work. And another thing that you can do is they have closed captioning. It says, allow host to type closed captions. Maybe you have to type them in, so maybe that doesn't work. Yeah. So anyways, a lot of great things that you can do using Zoom. And I'm trying to think about how you send out the invitation to students. I believe that you can set it up through, I believe if you set up a meeting, it will go to their Google Calendar. But I should probably check and make sure if that's true. So anyways, but there are different ways to get it out to your students. So that is Zoom, and I would recommend it if you feel like you're up to it. Recommend giving that a try.
Cool, great. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Yeah.
So we're at our 30-minute time frame here limit. There are no additional questions on the chat. I want to remind you guys, we are available via email as well, or if you wanted to touch base one-to-one on a Google Meet to talk a little bit more about how things are going, or what you're thinking about moving forward, we are available for you guys. That being said, thank you so much for moving forward and just trying out this new experience. We're all in a very steep exponential learning curve, but I think we'll really be better for it when all this is said and done, and we'll be a little more ready for distance learning work in the future. So thanks again, you guys, for all the work that you're doing, and for continuing to support your students in the variety of ways that you're doing it online.
Before you go, remember how we shared the grid? What did this morning meeting? We started talking about how everybody could see everybody using what was it called? Google Meet. No, it wasn't Google Meet. It was how to see everybody on a grid.
Yeah, I think what you can do is you can do a search for grid view. Yeah, Google Meet grid view, and it is an extension that you add to Chrome. So once you've added the extension to Chrome, the next time you open up a Google Meet, you will see a little icon of a grid up near the chat box. So yeah, try it out and then see what happens next time you pop into a Google Meet. You'll have to log out of any Meet that you're in and go back in, and then it will reset. Cool, you guys. Well, awesome. Thank you so much. Be well, be safe and sane, and we'll be doing another one of these on Thursday. Check the calendar. I think it's in the afternoon as well. But we'll be able to, again, field questions. Hopefully there'll be others that, not only us, but others that'll be able to answer some of your questions, since some of you have probably moved a little bit ahead of our knowledge of some of the online platform stuff as well. So hope to see you guys then, and thanks so much. Peace to you.